Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
I knew what Plug 3 looked like because Plug 3 doesn't have any pictures of himself or his Plug network online because, again, he's got warrants. He's running from, I ain't going to tell the business, but you get the point, right? But I'm one of the few people prior to meeting Plug 3 that knew what he looked like. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I want to thank you all for tuning in as you do each and every week. Shout out to those of you who are watching on YouTube. Man, check this out. All right, so on this episode, what I want to talk about is the plugs that I met. And for this discussion, when I use the word plugs, I'm meaning either podcasters or podcasts. Okay, cool. All right, so I was listening to a really, really dope episode from one of the homies, Plug 6, actually. And I'll talk about Plug 6 in just a few minutes. But he mentioned that in his network of plugs, he's come across and actually met some plugs that were really, really dope. And it got me to thinking, well, I've met some super dope plugs too in this plug network that I'm in as well. And there's some super dope plugs. And one of the words that you're going to hear on this episode a lot is cool, because the plugs that I've met are really, really cool. And here's the thing that I've always said about plugging and being a plug myself. Like, the one thing that I didn't want to do is, if I ever met any of the plugs, around this great nation or around the world, or if I ever met someone who was plugged in to my plug network, I would want them to meet me as who I am. And one thing I didn't want it to be was, I didn't want them to walk away from it saying, 12 Kyle, Kyle ain't like 12 Kyle because 12 Kyle's fun and this Kyle dude is a jerk. I can only be me. And I've been me for 53 years at the time of this recording. And I plan being on me for the next 53 years as well. So I've never been fake. I'm going to give you who I am at all times. So when you do meet me, if you're a plug or if you're just a random person, I want you to say, okay, the guy from the the guy that from the plug network is the same as the guy who I'm standing in front of, or who I just kicked it with, or who I met. So I want to talk a little bit about a few plugs that I met along the way. I've been plugging for a minute, right? And this plug life has been dope for me. And it's been very fun and very satisfying. And it's always cool when you meet plugs who are, very like-minded or really into the stuff that they do. And then subsequently, when they find your plug, they're into the same type of plug and they stay on the same type of vibe, same type of time. But yes, got me to thinking about, some of the plugs I met. So let me start with Plug 1. Plug 1, Plug 1 is an interesting plug because Plug 1, before I met Plug 1, I think Plug 1 and I were following each other on social media. And Plug 1 was tapped into my plug network. And I remember Plug 1 hit me up. And I think one of the first episodes, at least that I can remember, that we talked about, Plug 1 had heard an episode that I did with some of the homies about the shoe show. And the shoe show episode is one of my favorite episodes, pure comedy, talking about strip clubs. And so I think if I'm not mistaken, we exchanged tweets or maybe DMs or what have you. And but one of the things that before that exchange even stood out about Plug One was Plug One, like me, is from South Carolina. Now I am a resident of Atlanta. I've been living in Atlanta almost 30 years now. But where I'm from and where I live are two different places. I live in Atlanta, but I'm from Florence, South Carolina. And Plug One is from South Carolina as well. And so there was already a connection there. And then I remember, Plug One had reached out about that particular plug, and we were talking, and I think we were sending DMs or something, and maybe we exchanged numbers. And Plug One said, "Hey, I'm interested in getting on. I'm gonna start my own plug." And I was like, "Word, that's what's up." And so I'm not even gonna sit here and say that I gave Plug One any type of um I can't say I gave him game. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. You'd have to ask him. I just, told him what I thought about it and everything like that. And I'm like, once you do it, if you are really into it, you're going to be hooked and it's going to be something that you really enjoy doing. And so he got put on. And once he got put on, Plug One was in it. And when I tell you Plug One has taken the baton and run with it. And right now, the Plug One, I think Plug One has what, 3? He's got 3. He's got 3 plugs right now, and all of them are cooking. And he's been cooking for a minute. And how you handle 3? Well, I got 2, but I mean, like being able to handle 3 plugs is a lot. But Plug One is dope, man. So me and Plug One, I didn't officially meet Plug One until we exchanged numbers, texting, and Plug One said he was coming. He was gonna pull up at the livest homecoming in America. And that would be none other than the homecoming from South Carolina State University. You see the helmet, you see the jersey behind me if you're watching on YouTube. Um, I'm an alum. So for him to pull up and kick it at South Carolina State University's homecoming was something special. And so I told him where I was going to be. We exchanged numbers or whatever. And it's funny because when he pulled up, Plug One had on a Piggly Wiggly hoodie. And I mean, like, you got to be from South Carolina to know about Piggly Wiggly. And I thought that was super dope. So we laughed about that. I introduced him. I think I introduced my wife, Cherise, my brother, Damon. And then, we kicked it a little bit. So it was good. It was just good finally putting a face to a name, and just good vibes, man. Good brother. Really, really good plug. And subsequently after that, me and this plug have met up 2 more times at the livest homecoming in America. And I think that's dope, man, because again, that Plug One is not an alum, mind you. He's just a resident of the state of South Carolina. He's not an alum. So he's coming to the livest homecoming in America. And I'm not going to say I'm the only person he knows. I'm sure he knows other people. Yeah, of course he knows other people, because one year, was that 2 years ago? We were standing taking a photo. We were flicking it up for the gram, and somebody spotted Plug One, and they said, "Is that Plug One?" And it was somebody he went to high school with. And so, but man, Plug One, super, super dope cat, man. He's come here to Atlanta. We had breakfast. I think that was the last time we hung out. Mad cool. Please check out Plug One. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to his plugs. Excuse me. Subscribe to his plugs. You won't be disappointed. But that's my guy. Rock with him all the time. Faithful listener of my plugs, and I'm tapped in his plugs faithfully. And he's going places. Trust me. Now Plug Two is an interesting case because I know Plug Two, or at least I met Plug Two on the strength of Plug 9, but I haven't met Plug 9 yet. I'll talk about that a little later. Plug 2 and I go back a couple of years now. And I just know that we were introduced virtually through Plug 9. And again, I haven't met Plug 9 before, but Plug 2 and I got to be really, really cool very quickly. Plug two, real cool, laid back. Um, was sort of a mystery at first. But once I got to know her, I realized like Plug Two is kind of thugged out a little bit. Super, super passionate. Um, she really knows music, and over the last 3 years or so, Plug Two has really jumped into the game of women's basketball, women's sports. Um, and she's dope at talking about it. If you want to hear some good talk about the WNBA or women's college basketball, tap into Plug Two, especially when she goes live. It is there are very few people who know as much as Plug Two does. Um, but yeah, me and Plug Two been kicking it for a minute. Uh, what was interesting was I think the first time we were on a Plug network, I think when I saw her on camera, it was the first time that I realized like she looked like my cousin Tara. And if you know me, my cousin Tara, God bless the dead, that's my heart. Like there's like she's like my cousin Tara was 9 months older than me, but she's like a big sister to me. And but facially, she kind of reminded me of my cousin Tara. I don't think I ever told. Did I tell her that? I think I told her that. I can't remember. But anyway, um, but Plug Two, mad cool. Like I said, really big heart. Once you get to know her, the thugness goes away. But yeah, Plug Two is from she's from Michigan, right? But she's been in the South probably since college. And so I actually met Plug Two when I made it to Houston. As many of you know, maybe you don't know, I was back and forth between Atlanta and Houston on some plug shit, on some work shit. And so um, got a chance to meet Plug Two because Plug Two is in Texas as well. I'm not going to tell you where, but she's not in Houston, but she's not too far away from Houston, right? So we arranged something to go meet at Top Golf, which is, if you know me, is one of my favorite spots. So we go to Top Golf, kicking it, having a good time, and Plug Two is just as crazy in person as they are behind the microphone. And we had a good time. I think I won that day. I mean, you can ask Plug Two; she'll tell you. I think I won that day. Um, but we had a good time, food, drinks, just a ball. And I was happy that, the time that I was in Houston, Plug Two was only a couple hours away. And, she made it a point to come down and kick it with me. So, that type of stuff never gets lost on me. So Plug Two, super, super dope. Mad cool. If you are into sports, if you're into music, you need to tap into Plug Two. Plug Three is a very interesting cat because Plug Three and I go back, and I really don't know where we started. Plug Three, I've probably known virtually for quite a while, or at least maybe we were running in the same circles. And so Plug Three has a huge plug network, and where I can remember where we officially linked up was there was another plug network with a bunch of plugs, and we were kind of tapped into this one particular plug, which that plug is no longer plugging. But there was some chatter, group chats, emails, messages sent back and forth via GroupMe. Um, and so, we kind of tapped in from there. And after that, man, and it's been like 2018, 2019. After that, man, me and Plug Three have taken off. um, Plug Three, much like Plug One and Plug Two, has been on this plug network before several times. Now, what's interesting is Plug Three has like, warrants. So when Plug Three has been on this plug network, because Plug Three is running from not only the U.S. government but also the Soviet Union and the Cubans. Plug Three is their faces covered, right? So by now you could probably, if you follow, you know who I'm talking about. But Plug Three is a really funny guy. but I did not officially meet or see. Well, well, here's the thing. Let me back up. I knew what Plug 3 looked like because Plug 3 doesn't have any pictures of himself or his plug network online because, again, he's got warrants. He's running from, I ain't gonna tell the business, but you get the point, right? So, but I'm one of the few people prior to meeting Plug 3 that knew what he looked like because Plug 3 knows that I am a huge fan of Florida State football. And Plug 3 back in the day met a guy that used to play at Florida State. You may have heard of him. His name is Deion Sanders. And so Plug 3 sent me a picture of him and Deion Sanders back in the day. And I'm like, okay, so this is what he looks like. But I was one of the few that knew what he looked like. Like nobody else. And Plug 3 had been plugging for years. I mean, Plug 3, I mean, I've been plugging for 10 plus years. Plug 3's probably been plugging for 13, 14, 15 years, maybe. And been doing it, and nobody knows what Plug 3 looks like. And so I finally got a chance to meet Plug 3 last summer. Plug 3 came to Atlanta. Both Plug 3 and I are huge fans of the rap group Little Brother. In fact, fun fact, Plug 3 grew up with one of the members of Little Brother, Fonte. And so me, Plug 3, my boy Ryan, Chuck the Gambler, Be Easy, shout out to those brothers. All of us were at the Little Brother concert in the underground here in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. And we had a ball, man. And it was good. I mean, like I said, I knew what he looked like, but Plug 3, man, he looks like his voice sounds. That's what if you ask me how Plug 3 looks, he looks like his voice sounds. So Plug 3 is one of the two plugs that I'm going to talk about that the world doesn't know what they look like, but I do because I met these plugs. But that's my man. I mean, me and Plug 3, we'll talk or text every day. Seriously. And I like to get on Plug 3's case because if there's ever a week where Plug 3 don't put something out, put something on the street, I'm gonna call Plug 3 like, yo, wait, where's your stuff at, man? You gotta feed the streets. You gotta give the people what they want. So, but that's my guy. Plug 3 is he's just as funny. If you find him funny in his plug network, he's just as funny in person. A little bit crazy, but still funny nonetheless. Now Plug 4 is a different cat because Plug 4, I met through Plug 9, the aforementioned Plug 9, whom I have yet to meet. But that's beside the point. But yeah, Plug 4, man, Plug 4 really isn't plugging right now, but I think with a couple of appearances on my plug network, Plug 4 will be back to plugging. But super, super dope. Plug 4 had 2 plug networks. And one of the first things that you're going to know about Plug 4 is that he's very compassionate, very, very compassionate, very passionate about whatever it is he's doing. He is a father. He's an entrepreneur, former basketball player. Plug 4 is 6'8", I think. So he ain't a little guy. In fact, when you see the picture of me and Plug 4, he's 6'7" and I'm 5'7". So it's like we're polar opposites, if you will. But Plug 4, again, coming out of Houston, Texas. But like I said, I met Plug 4 through Plug 9, and we talked virtually, I think, and then we started plugging in different networks, and then we linked our networks together to plug together. And man, that dude is one of a kind, truly. He was somebody else who had been plugging for years, hit milestones with his plug network and everything. And so again, back to my back and forth between Atlanta and H-Town. Shout out to H-Town. I link up with Plug 4 because Plug 4 is from H-Town. Not born and raised, but been living in H-Town forever, right? So it's funny because I think when I got to Houston, I didn't know anybody. I knew my boy Tutu, who lived lived up the two houses down from me back home in Florence. Um, and plug four. That was it. And so I told plug four I was in town, and we had not met. And he was like, "Yo," he was like, "Let's go get some wings and some drinks." I was like, "All right, bet." So where you want to go? So he said, "Well, we'll go over here." He came to the crib. He came to the spot, pulled up. We chopped it up, and then we went, got some food. Man, hung out, had a good time, laugh, drank, great time. Um, we hung out then, and I think we hung out one time. A plug four came here to Atlanta, and then we hung out again um, when we went to Top Golf with plug two. So it was plug four and plug two and your boy at Top Golf. Now, plug four didn't play Top Golf with us that day. At least I don't think he did. I just remember winning. So you can ask plug four. Plug four is my boy. Um, I owe him a phone call. We've been texting lately, but I owe him a phone call. But solid. When I say give you the shirt off his back, he will do just that. Again, he's 6'7", so the shirt might not fit, but he'll give you the shirt off his back. Now, I got to talk about Plug Five because Plug Five and I, I think Plug Five and was it a DM? I think Plug Five and I started we linked up via Twitter DM. Plug Five had heard something from my plug network, I think, and she had a question. So she shoots me a DM, I shoot her back, and I think we just started chatting after that. And Plug Five at the time didn't even have her own plug network. Plug Five was really just making a couple of guest appearances here and there on Plug Six's network, and I'll get to Plug Six in just a second. But man, me and Plug Five, we got to be really close real quick. It went from DMs to phone numbers to texting, and Plug Five has been in my plug network, man, for a while. We've done so much together. I don't even know. I know it's been like maybe 4 or 5 years, but it seems like it's been longer than that, to be honest. The years just kind of go by fast. But yeah, that's my girl right there. Me and Plug Five. Again, we text or send voice notes probably every other day. Or if if some days go by and I don't hear from Plug Five would be like, "You're like, what's up?" Like just hit me up. Plug Five, super dope single mom. Plug Five eventually said, "You know what? I'm gonna start my own plug network." And Plug Five tapped in and started her own network, and it's taken off. And Plug Five, if nothing else, I mean, not only is Plug Five dope, but she don't miss. She I think she may have missed maybe one episode, but she's dropping consistently every Friday, at the very least by Saturday. But Plug Five is dope. If you've seen her on here, and I think Plug Five probably of the plugs that I've met probably gets some of the most interesting feedback on our music takes. Not bad, but very interesting feedback on our music takes. She's a huge music head. Plug Five and I have something in common. We both love Prince Rogers Nelson. In fact, I think Plug Five probably loves Prince Rogers Nelson more than me and everybody else. I mean, like, she loves Prince Rogers Nelson as if she was married to him. The only thing she loves more than Prince Rogers Nelson is her son. But shout out to Plug Five. That's my dog. Now, Plug Six, the aforementioned Plug Six, again, not trying to repeat myself, but I met Plug Six through Plug Nine, whom I haven't met. Plug Six, man, what's interesting about Plug Six is that I would see Plug Six around on social media. I see him on Twitter. I see him here. I see him there. I saw him a couple of times on Instagram. He pop up because he was tapped in with Plug Nine. Now, again, Plug Nine knows everybody, or at least so it seems, right? And so what was interesting was I just remember Plug Nine sent a tweet and was like, yo, you need to tap in with 12 Kyle. And so I'm like, I know him, but I don't know him. Like I hadn't tapped into his plug network or anything. And so that was kind of weird. It was a weird introduction because she didn't say, hey, I'm going to tap you in with plug 6. She was just like, here you go, like that. And so we started following each other and started kicking it, and then what was interesting was after that, I think I remember plug 6. I did an episode on my first crib, my first apartment. And I went on Twitter one day. Shout out to Twitter because Twitter no longer exists. I mean, X ain't Twitter, but that's another story for another day. But I remember going on Twitter one day and the first tweet that I saw was plug 6 had tweeted a video of him driving and he was playing that episode. And so we'd already been chatting back and forth, but that started a commentary or whatever like that. Now, so plug 6 is from LA, right? And so I told plug 6 shortly thereafter us, linking up or whatever on social media. I was like, yo, I'm gonna be out in LA for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be out there for a week, blah, 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 whatever. I was like, if you can, we can link up if you got time. I'm gonna be with the family, so I won't have I ain't got time to go to no club. but so I did that, and so we exchanged numbers or whatever. He's like, yo, when you get here, let me know where you stand. I told him where I was gonna be at. We were in Anaheim because we went to Disneyland. But I told him, I said, yo, I got some time because we had Thanksgiving dinner because my wife's from Compton and she still has family out there. So we had Thanksgiving dinner with some family friends out in Gardena. And so that Friday, we were going to Staples Center to see the Lakers play the Sacramento Kings, LeBron James with the Lakers. And so I was like, yo, I'm going to be at Staples. We'll probably, because earlier that day, the family wanted to go see the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So we're walking through Hollywood, looking at all these, and which is a very weird place if I could be honest. Cool, but very weird. And if you've ever been to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you'll see what I'm talking about. It ain't what you think it is, but it ain't that bad. It's actually kind of cool. But I told him, I said, look, we're gonna eat at, we'll be down there. I think it was LA Live? LA Live, I think. And we're gonna eat at this spot and then we're going into Staples. And so again, it's a Friday after Thanksgiving. So he tells me, he's like, yo, I'll pull up on you after work. And so again, this is a plug that I've never met. We've been chopping it up probably for the better part of maybe 3 or 4 months, maybe. And so, again, if you've ever been to LA, and LA is probably my second favorite city of all time, it's 1A, 1B to New York City. So plug 6 tells me he's going to meet me in front of Staples before the game. And he said he was getting off work and he was coming to pull up. And so I don't know where he's coming from. And I think he said some city, whatever the city was. And I'm pretty familiar with the cities that make up LA County or what have you. Whatever the city was, he said, it didn't sound like it was somewhere near. And so my guess is he probably drove at least an hour in LA traffic, at least hour 15, maybe hour and a half. And to his word, he pulled up, dapped up, we talked for a minute, flicked it up for the gram. I introduced him to the family before we went into the Laker game. And we talked maybe about 15 minutes and then we had to go inside. But what was interesting in what that taught me about that interaction was this is a dedicated plug, because I don't know how many people, there ain't that many people I could tell you that if they told me they were in downtown Atlanta, it was going to take me 2 hours to get to them, or let's just say an hour and a half. It's going to take me an hour and a half to get to them. I don't necessarily know that there's a whole bunch of people that I would just jump in my car and be like, all right, I'll meet you down there and we chop it up for 15 minutes and then I go about my way. I'm not gonna do that. But Plug Six did that, and that resonated with me. And me and Plug Six just took off from there. Plug Six, honestly, is like a little brother to me. And we've been super tight ever since. Plug Six is another one where we talk or text or send voice notes every day. And like I said, Plug Six and Plug Five have been friends for what, 25, 30 years or something like that. And so they had a connection, and then we got a connection, and then as that was developing, I got a connection with, Plug Five. And so it's been all, super cool. The last time I was in LA, 2024, as soon as I got off the plane, went to Plug Six's crib. And I mean, now here's the thing. Now we boys, but that just goes to show you the level of, how plugged in you could be with people if a plug invites you to their home. Now it was a beautiful mansion. I ain't gonna tell you about the private airport beside his subdivision, but I ain't gonna tell you about that. But yeah, Plug Six is my dog. That's my dog. And so anytime I'm coming to LA, Plug Six is where I'm going. I'm gonna hang with Plug Six, regardless. Again, that's my dog, and Plug Six, super dope plug network that he has, both of his networks, and you need to check him out. You need to check him out whenever he drops. Just subscribe. You won't be disappointed because he's gonna give you something. He might make you laugh. He might make you laugh harder. He might make you mad, but you're gonna get something. And then obviously Plug Seven. Plug Seven, I guess I met Plug Seven through. I guess I probably could say I met Plug Seven through Plug Three. I'm trying to think. I can't even remember how we met virtually. But Plug Seven knew Plug Three, and then Plug Seven was also tapped in with Plug Six. So it's a lot of networks going on here, and so Plug Seven, much like Plug Six, Plug Seven's from LA. Now Plug Seven is a little different because Plug Six, Fremont High, East Side kid. Plug Seven, Compton. In fact, I remember I was telling one of my teammates who lives in LA. I said, yeah, I'm a tap in with my boy Plug Seven, and he was like, oh yeah. He's like, where's he from? I said, he's from Compton, and he said, well, what high school did he go to? I said, he went to Compton High, and he said, oh, he's a Crip. And I wanted to say, like, how do you know that without me telling you that he's a Crip? But he knew. And if you know, you know. But yeah, Plug Seven, Nutty Block Crip, Compton. And he's been plugged into this network, and we've talked about his times and his experiences as a Nutty Block Crip. But that ain't the first thing that you learn and know about him. But yeah, we got tapped in somehow. And me and Plug Seven, man, hit it off. I mean, again, another one like a brother, like a younger brother. And Plug Seven's network, his plug network, is just strictly about game. I mean, like, he is going to give you some game. I like to mess with him because, like, one of the things that I enjoy about his plug network is that he speaks as if he's like older, way older. Like, he's 10 years younger than me. So he's 43, right? He's 43. Plug Six is 43. And so the thing that I enjoy about my relationships with Plug Six and Seven is that, and I've told them this, and I think I need to tell them again, but like, for as much as I thought I had it together at 43, they are way far. I wish I was as together as they are, or had their mindset, where they were going, what they wanted out of life, what they were getting out of life at the age of 43, as they do, and both are on great paths to get where they're going. But yeah, man, me and Plug Seven got super tight, super cool, and we exchanged numbers. And I remember one time, man, and I remember Plug Seven saying one time on his Plug network that he didn't talk on the phone. And then one day, man, me and Plug Seven got on the phone, and we literally talked for about 2 hours. And I can't tell you what we talked about, but it was laughs, it was catching up, it was just we literally talk like people who had been friends for since the sandbox. And so I think that's what I think part of the reason why I'm tapped in with all of these plugs the way that I am is because the friendships that have grown from us being plugs is that like they appear, even though they haven't been friends with me for a long time, they feel like they've been friends with me forever. And so when I on my last trip to LA, man, got a chance to meet um got a chance to meet Plug Seven, and we, like I said, we've been kicking it for about a year or two. But actually, what was interesting was when I landed in LA, me, Plug Six, where we were at Plug Six's house, and I forgot to mention Plug Five was there. So that's where I met Plug Five. So Plug Five, Plug Seven, we all met at Plug Six's house, and we went and got brunch. And it was just cool, just all of us kicking it. And, took some pictures and we just had a good time. And Plug Five was only there, I think, maybe because Plug Five lives in the Midwest. And she was just happy to get out of snowy Iowa. And I can't blame her. Who wouldn't want to leave Iowa to come to, 70 degrees sunny LA? But all of us got a chance to, intermingle and have a good time. And I think that was the first time that Plug Seven had met Plug Five. And so, and Plug Six, made all of that happen. But yeah, so my time in LA, I hung out with Plug Six and Plug Seven. Plug Seven, over the past couple of years, Plug Seven not only went from being in his plug network and his day job, Plug Seven jumped into comedy. And that ain't an easy arena to get into. And one, you got to be funny. And let me tell you a little secret. Plug Seven is funny, right? And so Plug Seven hit me up. He was like, "Hey man, what you doing tonight?" Because I was out there for my birthday. I was just kicking it for a couple of days, no agenda, no nothing. I just wanted to just have a good time, see my friends, see the other plugs, see the homie Jay Fresh that I went to high school with, that I grew up with, see my cousin Scott and his family. But I had no plans that particular night. It was Wednesday night. And Plug Seven hit me up. He was like, "Yo, what you doing tonight?" I was like, "Nothing." He's like, "Hey, well, there's an amateur night at there's a DL Hughley, comedian DL Hughley has a club in Pasadena. Let's pull up to that." He's like, "I'm gonna try to get on stage and get some work." I was like, "All right, bet." And so I get there, and I don't know my way around Pasadena, so I get to I try to beat the traffic. So I'm in Pasadena a whole hour before I'm supposed to meet up with Plug Seven, and I'm chilling, and then so I go in the club, and then after I go in the club, probably about maybe 10 minutes later, Plug Seven comes in. And what was really, really dope was me and Plug Seven are talking. And I got my back to the door, and in walks comedian DL Hughley. And so most people would freeze and not do anything or not say anything or try to go through, another channel. But Plug Seven wanted to get on that stage that night. And they had already had, I guess, lineup of comedians who were going on stage, but then maybe they had maybe they could make room for a couple of guys to get on or ladies to get on. And so Plug Seven looked at me and said, "Hold on, I'll be right back." And he stopped our conversation and walked straight over to DL Hughley, introduced himself. I didn't hear the conversation, but that took a lot. And that just told me what I already knew. But Plug Seven is extremely confident in who he is and what he can do. And so while he didn't get on stage that night, man, we had a good time. I had a good time at the show. And, I told Plug Seven the next time I come to LA, I got to see him on the stage. But Plug Seven, another one in the group chat every day. We chopping it up every day. We'll call each other, and the first 5 minutes will be roasting. So if you ever see me and Plug Seven online or on Instagram or something like that, just know he's got jokes. And last but not least, Plug Eight and I go back the furthest. Plug Eight is much like Plug Three. he's anonymous. Like people don't know who he is or what he is. I'll be honest. There was a point in time in history where we really thought Plug 8 was a robot. Like, because he wasn't the stuff that he would say online, and this was the early days of being online. This was the days of you know, not even group chats, but like chat rooms and stuff like that. But I met Plug 8 through blogging. We both had blogs. We used to comment on each other's blogs. And one thing I realized very quickly was that we had very similar tastes as far as hip hop was concerned. Both of us are huge hip hop fans. As I got to know Plug 8 a little bit more, I realized that like Plug 8 really is who he is online, and his musical tastes and mine very similar but very very different. I mean, and how can I put this? Like, if you take an album like it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. One of the greatest albums ever in rap history by Public Enemy. You know that album. You're pretty familiar with it, right? His favorite song on that album is Cold Lampin' with Flavor Flav. I mean, nobody outside of him and Flavor Flav have that as their favorite song off that phenomenal classic hip hop album. That just goes to show you how different, and I use quotation marks, different he is. But me and Plug 8 go back. We literally go back to probably about, I would say 2008, 2009. We had linked up and were plugged in before social media, before Twitter. We left our blogs to go to Twitter. So it's my guy. And I did, but what was weird was I had not physically met Plug 8 until maybe 2 or 3 years, probably about 3 years ago. Plug 8 came to Atlanta. And by this time, we've been linked up and we've probably collaborated with our plug networks. My guess is in over at least 100 episodes, at least, probably more. I never sat down to count, but between my plug network and with my 2 plug networks and his 2 plug networks, yeah, we've probably collaborated at least 100 times. Dope plug. Again, super, super dope plug. And so Plug 8 hits me up and he's like, yo, I'm in Atlanta, or at least I'm coming to Atlanta. I'm like, all right, bet. Where you staying? Oh, I'm at the Waldorf. So I go down, and again, now what's interesting about Plug 8 is that I don't know what Plug 8 looks like at this point. I'd never seen him before. The only thing, because there are no pictures of Plug 8 online. There's only one picture of Plug 8, and it's like a silhouette picture, and he's got a bald head. That's all I know. And when I finally meet Plug 8 in the lobby of the Waldorf as we're having drinks, he looks just like you would think Plug 8 would look. So we kicked it. We left there. One of the other homies came through. We went to another spot, had more drinks. And what's interesting is the 3 or 4 times I've hung out with Plug 8, I don't think I've ever paid for a drink. And here's why. 1, because Plug 8 is a billionaire. 2, because Plug 8 drinks. And like, y'all know me, I'm not much of a drinker. Actually, I drink probably less now than I ever have before. And I didn't grow up drinking either. I didn't have my first drink until I was 26 years old. All right. So that being said, I will get a drink or 2. And so, but Plug 8, he's done something that I've never seen done before. This man sat down and the bartender says, okay, hey, what do you want? And Plug 8 said, oh, just make something. And he's dead serious. Like, he wanted the bartender just to make something. And so the bartender turns around, and she's doing this and pouring all these concoctions and all this stuff. And there's, many explosions and stuff. And she puts it down and the smoke coming up and all kind of stuff like that. And I'm like, you gonna drink this? And he drinks it. I mean, Plug 8 drinks like a fish. Don't try to drink with Plug 8. I didn't get drunk or anything like that, but I had a couple of drinks but beside that, Plug 8 is, for as different as Plug 8 is, he and I are very similar in a lot of ways. He's very dedicated to his craft. And Plug 8 don't care. He don't, when I say he don't care about nothing, he don't care about nothing. He cares about his sneakers, he cares about his car, he cares about his money, and that's about it. And he cares about his plug network. And he cares about some of his friends like me. I think he cares about me. He'd probably tell you he doesn't. But yeah, I would implore all of you to tap into these plugs and their networks. I mentioned Plug 9. Plug 9 she is super cool, super dope. What's weird is Plug 9 lives in Atlanta. And over the 5 or 6 years I've known Plug 9, I've been tapped in with Plug 9 at least since 2019, because we were both at the Freaknik concert in 2019. And we were sending each other messages, but we couldn't link up, and then it started raining and never got a chance to meet her. But Plug 9 is the true plug. She is like the queen pin plug. Like, if you want to get plugged in with people, you need to know Plug 9. In fact, I call Plug 9 the plug, because she really is the plug. And in a lot of ways, more than half of the people that I mentioned in this episode, I would not know had it not been for Plug 9. But again, I haven't met Plug 9, and both of us live in Atlanta. Scheduling, I think Plug 9 is on the other side of the city, and I think she's on the west side, I'm on the east side. No excuses, but I will have you know, probably by the time you hear this episode, Plug 9 and Plug 2 and I will hang out. Plug 2 is coming to town. Plug 9 is going to be there. We've already made arrangements for it to happen. We'll probably come back and tell you all about it. But nonetheless, these are the plugs that I've met. I would love for you to get plugged in to the plugs that I've met. My friendship and the bonds that I have, created and crafted with these plugs are invaluable. And I think once you tap into their plug networks, you'll see just how invaluable these people are. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We drop new episodes every Thursday. Don't forget to hit us up on the website, the12kylepodcast.riverside.com. That's 12KYLE podcast.riverside.com. There you can find all of the streaming platforms where you need to go, and you can also sign up for our newsletter. That's going to do it for me. Thanks again for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. Cheers.